जब मैंने एज अ ब्लॉगर अपना वर्क स्टार्ट किया तो जब कोई मुझसे पूछता था कि व्हाट यू डू, तो मुझे जब बताने में बहुत अजीब सा लगता था कि आई एम अ ब्लॉगर। और इवन व्हेन आई हैड 1000 फॉलोअर्स और 5000 फॉलोअर्स या करेंटली 11,000, बट मुझे हर स्टेज पे ये लगता रहा कि लोग क्या कहेंगे कि ओ शी इज़ अ ब्लॉगर, ब्लॉगर क्या होता है। या फिर कभी ये लगता था कि बस इतने से फॉलोअर्स हैं, ये कैसी ब्लॉगर है। तो इस तरीके की फीलिंग आती थी, आती है। और नॉट जस्ट अबाउट ब्लॉगिंग, बल्कि चाहे वो मेरा सोशल मीडिया का वर्क हो, चाहे मेरी पॉडकास्ट का वर्क हो, हर चीज़ को लेकर, इवन अपनी पर्सनल लाइफ को लेकर, चाहे व्हाट काइंड ऑफ अ मदर आई एम, और मैं खाना कैसा बना पाती हूँ या नहीं बना पाती हूँ, और मेरा घर कैसा रहता है, हर चीज़ के लिए, स्पेशली इफ समवन कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स मी कि यू आर डूइंग दिस सो वेल, तो लगता है नहीं नहीं, ये तो ऐसे ही बोल रहे हैं, दे डोंट मीन इट। या फिर कभी ये लगता है कि अगर कुछ अच्छा हो गया अचानक हमारे साथ, तो हमें लगता है अच्छा ये तो हमारा लक था, काइंड ऑफ आई डोंट डिजर्व इट, आई डिडंट डू एनीथिंग फॉर इट। इस तरह की फीलिंग्स विमेन में बहुत कॉमन है। आई एम श्योर मैन में भी होती होगी। तो ये जो फीलिंग होती है, इट हैज़ अ नेम, इट्स कॉल्ड इम्पोस्टर सिंड्रोम। तो इसमें क्या होता है कि हम जो विमेन होते हैं, वी फील लाइक इम्पोस्टर्स, कि जो भी हम कर रहे हैं, जो दुनिया को लगता है कि वाह ये बहुत ही अच्छा कर रही है, कभी ना कभी सबको पता चल जाएगा, ये सारा ट्रूथ अनकवर हो जाएगा कि हम कुछ नहीं है, लाइक डिसीव कर रहे हैं हम लोगों को। और ये बहुत बड़ी बड़ी जो विमेन अचीवर्स हैं, लाइक शेरिल सैंडबर्ग, उनको भी होती है, चाहे वो कुछ भी अचीव कर लें। तो इसके बारे में मैंने सोचा कि बात करना बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि ये हमारा एक बहुत ही बड़ा लिमिटिंग बिलीफ है। और इसके लिए बात करने के लिए द मोस्ट अप्रोप्रिएट गेस्ट इज नो वन एल्स बट कैटरीना फोकमन, जो लिटिल फिक्सेस पॉडकास्ट पे आ चुकी हैं पहले भी। एंड शी इज़ वन ऑफ द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट वुमेन इन्फ्लुएंसर्स आई हैव हैड। और उनके साथ मैंने बात करी इम्पोस्टर सिंड्रोम के बारे में, उन्होंने कब एज एन इम्पोस्टर फील किया पर्सनली, कैसे डील कर सकते हैं उनसे, और इसके क्या हार्मफुल इफेक्ट्स हो सकते हैं हमारी मेंटल हेल्थ पे या हमारे वर्क पे। हर चीज़ के बारे में हमने बहुत अच्छे से बात करी है, और कुछ अच्छी बुक रिकमेंडेशंस भी हैं। तो आई एम श्योर कि आप चाहे होम मेकर हो या फिर आप एंटरप्रेन्योर हो, कोई बहुत हाई लेवल कॉर्पोरेट एम्प्लॉय हो, हर किसी के लिए दिस एपिसोड हैज़ a lot to offer. Just drop everything, or maybe keep doing what you're doing and listen to us talk about imposter syndrome.
Hey there, welcome to Little Fixes, a podcast for the sassy, classy and a little choosy भारतीय नारी. This is Macleod. मैं और मेरे गेस्ट शेयर करते हैं सिंपल प्रैक्टिकल आइडियाज जो आप इजीली फॉलो कर सकते हैं to get closer to the kind of life you want to live. We talk about career, self-care, social media tips, parenting, relationships, and so much more to help you thrive. All of this is mixed with a lot of laughter. So, my lovely friend, continue what you're doing and join me in this real talk. So today, Little Fixes Pay, it is the first time that a guest is coming back. And it is none other than our very favorite Kat, who came here in episode 10. We recorded in December, and I believe the episode came out in February. And now she has very graciously agreed to come back here, and we are going to discuss a very different topic to what we discussed last time. But before we start, let's welcome Kat. Hi, Kat. We are thrilled to have you on Little Fixes.
Hi, Maitri. Thank you so much for having me back. Very excited to be here again.
So are we. Actually, our lives have changed a lot since we did the last episode. Everything has changed, actually. This pandemic has changed everything for, I think, most of us. And
Who could have guessed?
Yes,
who could have guessed?
No one could have, seriously. Even I remember that you did some astrology post in November, and I was like, what can happen? I still remember that post because I read it, and I was like, she's saying the world is going to change, and I was like, what can happen? And
I remember the tagline of this post was "Fasten your seatbelts" for 2020, and people said, "Well, yeah, like, what are we going to have, like earthquake?" So people were like a little bit skeptical about it.
Exactly, because obviously everything keeps changing slowly, but this year just hit us. So it is something entirely different, and our lives have changed. Your life has changed a lot, and you are doing really amazingly well. And so we would like your introduction again. In a way, your life has changed.
Sure. Yes, you're right, completely right. Lots of things changed in a good way, and I think that was a great test of my kind of self-development journey of my life, that can I accept these changes and turn it around to our advantage, to advantage of our family. For example, quickly before lockdown started in March, we moved to Himachal. That's a family house of my husband, and we actually enjoyed it here. While I know a lot of my friends um, went through hardships, staying in Gurgaon in complete lockdown and staying in Mumbai in complete lockdown, we actually consider ourselves blessed that we stayed here in the middle of Himachal wilderness. And it was a beautiful experience, wonderful nature. And at some point, we looked at each other, me and my husband, and said, you know what, can I just tell you something? We don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. I think he said it first, and he was kind of looking at me what I'm going to say. And I said, oh, I'm glad that you said I also don't want to go back. So it was like a best hidden secret, and we both of us immediately accepted it right away. The only constraint was Shannon's education. And once again, I think I shared with you last time that I was dreaming about homeschooling her, and I said the only problem is that I'm not at home, not at all. I was in the office, and suddenly I realized, okay, that's my chance. That's my chance. I'm working from home. Why not? I have 3 master's degree. It would be a shame to, outsource education of my 5-year-old child to somebody else. So let me try. And that was the last kind of connection between us and Gurgaon. And we moved completely here, bought a little mountain, because we wanted to have a nice view, and started now we're getting construction of our house/retreat. My dream is also to have a spiritual retreat here in Himachal, where I can host my programs offline, where I can welcome all my students like yourself to come and spend maybe a couple of weeks here, and also continue with our spiritual journey, our trainings and our programs here. So that's the situation right now. That's what's going on.
Yes, and it's wonderful actually, and it is one of my dreams to go on a retreat, and when I saw on Instagram that Kat is starting a retreat, I was like, wow, it is one of the places I would love to be. So so let's see when that happens. But your way of looking at things, your way of doing things is really inspiring. You are one of the persons who actually shifted my perspective, the way I looked at myself after I became a mother. I even shared it on Instagram in one of my posts that you were the first person actually, because I did not have a very strong female influence in my life ever. So I didn't know who to look up to. And then I came across you when I joined Instagram as a blogger. So, and then I saw your programs and I was like, yes, let's start with it. And I started seeing myself differently, and life has changed. Even you were the person who brought me back to podcasts. In one of your newsletters, you mentioned a podcast you loved, and I started listening to them. And after a year, I started, why not start my own? So you were there also. Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's the power of example. That's why we should keep sharing, you through your podcasts and I through my Instagram, because sharing that it's possible. I think the main inspiration you can give to other people, other ladies maybe, or gentlemen, to say you can, right. Or maybe you may. It's like permission. You may, and people say, is it okay? I say yes, it's okay. Oh, really? I didn't know that. And people almost like they got permission. And I saw already several couples messaged us after seeing you and Ricky relocating. We left Mumbai. We came back to hometown. Or actually, somebody said we didn't want to go back to hometown. We didn't like it, but we bought some new land in Uttarakhand, and we're also getting some cafe built. So people are understanding that it's not some fantastic, kind of project. It's very much possible and very much realistic.
Yes. And our today's topic is also kind of related to what we just discussed, because we are always looking for permission from someone else to do our own thing. And I think it kind of relates to imposter syndrome. And you have talked extensively about it on your Instagram page, and I have read about it a lot. So first, let's talk a little about what is imposter syndrome according to you, Kat.
Yes. So it was back in 1978. It was interesting research done by a couple of professional female researchers. They interviewed 150 highly successful women, high achievers. Maybe they were like directors of the faculty, in some universities. They get best grades, best professional rewards, salaries, and all. And I interviewed each one of them separately, and most of them, I think 86% of them, confessed that they feel like an imposter. Imposter means that I'm actually not so good like people think I am, and I'm kind of faking it, and at some point it's going to be revealed and I'm going to be in trouble. So despite all the recognitions and validations these females got from society, yes, they still felt extremely, almost like they pretend to be so good. And it's became like it's great that it was published and people started recognizing it. Even such high profile female like Sheryl Sandberg, I think Facebook CEO, she mentioned it in a lot of books, and most of us, even I can say, like, I used to feel the same. It's okay. We all, it's like a best hidden secret among us. And once we start speaking about it, people say, oh really? I thought I am the only one. Yes. And that's the best thing we can do about it, just to spread this message that it's okay to feel this way for multiple reasons. I think there are like 5 different reasons to feel it, and we can discuss it. But most important thing is to accept that I used to think this way, and I know I'm not alone.
Yes. I think it happens to all of us. Even I told about this to my husband, and he was like, okay, this has to be something. He was not very sure, but I'm sure he will agree when he reads more about it. Because as you said, that the research was done by women on women. So is it very specific to women, or men also suffer from imposter syndrome?
See, research is a bit subjective here because it requires a person to accept that, yes, I have it. And I think our men actually under a lot of pressure not to accept such things. They have a pressure to be more perfect in professional sense and more responsible kind of here. We ladies can say, oh, hey, I'm not maybe professionally, maybe I feel I'm not good enough yet, but at least I'm a great mom, or it's not our primary role. Unfortunately, in society, traditionally, primary role for men is to be that professional driver. I know things are changing, but somewhere deep down in our psychology, for men, it's extremely painful to accept that you are not even a good professionally than who you are, then what is your value added. So, or maybe overall females are more flexible in accepting such things. So I don't know why, but yes, statistics says that females have slightly higher rate of imposter syndrome, at least as per own admission of people who got interviewed.
Okay. As you said, it comes from our conditioning, because we are told since childhood, you are a girl, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. So maybe that is one of the reasons.
Yeah, so there are 5 different groups of imposters. I think we can briefly mention them.
Yes.
They start, so we call it expert, second one perfectionist, third one is superwoman, superman, fourth is a prodigy, and the last one kind of individualist, aggressive individualistic person. So, and they have different reasons. They all result in the same imposter feelings. Very common one is the expert. It's the person who has specific qualification in some field, professional or science, and the more you study, the more you realize how deep is your field. Like I am, for example, I know analytics, and because I know analytics, I know how deep is this area of analytics, and the more I study, the more I realize that I don't know quite a lot. I don't know. And that makes me feel like imposter. While the person who has no clue about analytics can happily say, hey, I know statistical regression, I know analytics, right? So this is a funny feeling when the more you research, the more you understand how much you still don't know. And that is a very common symptom for scientists, for professional people. So, and they start collecting more and more diplomas, certificates. They go for additional classes, and even when they become like professors in this field, they realize still how much I don't know. So much I still don't know. How can people call me the expert in analytics? Yes.
Right.
Yes. So how people can call me an expert in analytics if I still don't know so much? So that question lingering in their mind.
Okay.
And the second most popular, of course, reason is perfectionist.
Yes.
So maybe you're one of those when you feel, even if I do everything 99% great, I will focus on that 1% mistake that I made, and I will punish myself for that, and
Uh-huh.
say hello to your teachers and our parents in school who would not accept A minus as anything acceptable. They would drive us
Mm-hmm.
to have A or A plus.
Mm-hmm.
So that's origins in childhood, perfectionist
Perfectionist
symptom.
and expert. I think I am a combination of these two. I am a perfectionist, but I'm trying to
I
get away
think
from it. I'm an expert.
I am a combination of all five, I'm telling you.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So the next one is superwoman.
Mhm.
Superwoman, we also call them workaholics.
Okay.
Workaholics is people, you see them in the is those who
Mm.
stay very late, they come very early, they drive people crazy around them, they always want more things done in the context of their job. So it's kind of mixed with perfectionism, but it's also behavior. It's also addiction, as much addiction as alcoholic. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
addiction to do more and more because by old childhood kind of validation, trauma, nobody loves me, I need to be great to be loved, all these things coming here. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Right.
workaholics,
Mm-hmm.
workaholics here. Prodigy is a very fun type of imposter. Prodigy is usually person who from the childhood was very talented in some area. Maybe this person was extremely good in mathematics without any effort. She
Okay.
she was just great in math.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to her so naturally, so easy. So she's so used to it. And now when she's growing up, she understands she was expecting everything else comes so naturally. Now
Mm-hmm.
she's trying to do maybe business or finance or accounting, and it's not coming so easily. She has to study and she cannot remember or she cannot understand so fast because
Mm-hmm.
she was prodigy only in math. And she
Okay.
got her ego drops on the floor. I thought I'm gifted and talented. I'm not. I was just pretending. It was a
Mm.
mistake. People
Mm.
are mistaken about me. I'm not so talented. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
she was. It's just you cannot expect everything in life to come so easily. Yep.
Right. Yes. Yes. It is happening
And the
to me
final
these days.
person, yeah, I'm telling you, you're probably also mix of couple of this.
Okay.
And and the last one, what we call individualist. It's a
Okay.
person who thinks whatever it is, it's better for me if I do it by myself.
Oh.
Nobody else can do it as good as I am. Yeah. So I know I should delegate. I know I have to ask my cleaning lady to wash the floor. But look at her quality of her washing the floor. Surely I would have done it myself much better, right? So it's people
Mm-hmm.
who trying to grab so much because they simply cannot accept that other people are also have different view, maybe a different way of doing things, and not everything has to be done according to how you see it should be done. It's very difficult to work with such people, right?
Uh-huh.
So these people also are very prone to feel deep inside that I have to do everything myself. But look again, maybe somebody will come and
Uh-huh.
uncover me that I'm not so good in what I'm telling people to do. And one day, it's a fear for all of imposters that one day people will realize I'm
Yes.
just faking it.
Uh-huh. Yes,
Yep.
yes. We keep asking ourselves, who am I? Who am I to do this? Who am I to say this? When someone asks us something, like if someone comes to me and tells ki you are doing great with your podcast, can you help me in starting mine? So I'm like, I don't know. Initially, I used to be, very shaky. Ki, I can't do it. I cannot help you. I have just started my own. But slowly I realized, no, I know at least more than these people, and I can help them. So I started this podcast consultation thing. Ki, okay, I can help you in starting your podcast, and it is doing well. I think
Yep.
we just need to come out
Yes.
of our own minds.
Absolutely, absolutely. There is a big danger in keeping your imposter syndrome alive, and that's why I started sharing it and including how to heal yourself. Because the biggest danger is, firstly, when you win, your victory doesn't give you satisfaction. You
Mm-hmm.
actually won, your podcast is successful, but you don't feel satisfied because you focus on that 1% mistake, or you still question yourself, how come maybe somebody will uncover my dark secret that I'm not so good. So victory doesn't make you happy, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
big danger. It means that you're not driven to achieve
Mm-hmm.
more and more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Plus you have a strong fear of failure,
Mm-hmm.
number one,
Yes.
and even stronger fear of success. You have a fear of success. What if I succeed? I will
Mm-hmm.
be put on the spot. People start investigating me. Who was she? What is her background? And then they will see she is not so good. And again, people are really scared of being successful in such
Uh-huh.
situations. So a lot of dangerous moments here, and best thing we can do is start healing it.
And as you said that it is in our mind, and are there also physical symptoms, anxiety or things like that?
Sure, sure. Of course, it will always come to your body. It will be source of potentially psychosomatic disorders later in life. When you keep hiding things, it can reflect in multiple areas of your body. Like you cannot hide your feelings.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so this is this sounds dangerous. ऐसे लगता है कि it is nothing because it is in our mind and we can overcome it, but it looks like we cannot overcome it so easily. So before we talk about how can we get over it, we would like to know your story of feeling like an imposter, like when it happened to you, and why did it happen to you? How did you overcome your
Yes.
syndrome? Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful question. I was just going to speak about it. What I was feeling at some point in my life, I was feeling very lucky. You know, I moved to Canada from Russia. I got accepted to graduate program in Canada, in master's program. I was lucky. Oh, wow. Then I got to the best business school in the world, to Wharton Business School. Wow, I got lucky. You know, I got lucky, and I got job in New York. I got lucky again. I got salary. I got lucky. At some point, I started thinking, you know, it's like when you start self-development journey and you have wonderful teachers, wonderful professors who start telling you about self-love and recognition and feeling of self-worth. At that point, I started questioning myself, saying, look, it's not luck. It's really, truly your own achievements. It's something that the harder you work, the luckier you get, right? Behind every step in my journey was a lot of hard work, and it's easy to dismiss it like pure luck. But you know, when you consistently see a great result from yourself, there is no shame to say like, no, I brought it to myself. That is my own achievement. And there is no luck, because imposter syndrome is also feeling that your luck can run out at some point. Yes, if you don't have a solid belief that you did it yourself by your own hard work, and then you become more confident that no matter what, doesn't matter what is the situation in the markets or what is the situation in your job, you will be just fine. Because you've done so many things, you got so far in life. So that's my personal turnaround time. And yes, as soon as I started sharing it with my trainers, with my teachers, everyone around me said, look, I know, me too. So that's why I think in my strategies to heal it, when people say, what should we do? I think very important to have good mentors or good peers with whom you can open up and say it exactly. Or if you're brave enough, like Maitri, to say it on social media and podcasts, to say, me too. And that's okay. And people will hear you and say, oh, wow, okay, so 86% of people have it. I thought I'm the only one.
Right. So true. Because हमें लगता है कि whatever we have achieved, it's not because of us. Maybe we just got lucky, as you said. And even I feel that when I get a big opportunity, I feel maybe they didn't know that there is another person more knowledgeable than me, or maybe they just stumbled on my profile. Maybe they are not, even I feel maybe the other party is not big enough, and that's why they are coming to me. I mean, there is so much going on in my head that I do everything except congratulate myself. Yes, you did it.
yes, exactly. You even question competency of people who selected you.
Yes.
Or, yes.
So what do you think, how do you think we can come out of it, this feeling?
So see, I think I said it before 1,000 times, but I will repeat it again. You need to have, we call it a diary or a success diary. People got scared that, oh, diary, I have no time for this. But it's really one single line, one sentence. Write in a nice, tiny notebook, put it somewhere near your bed. Write it just before falling asleep. One sentence, it will take you 10 seconds to write. Success of the day, what I did great today, me, myself. It could be personal, it could be professional, it can be related to household, it can be related to your baby, it can be related to your job, or it could be some insight from the book, something that I did today. Usually I'm asking my clients to write just one sentence. Very quickly they start writing more, because it's not, again, so time consuming. It just have to become your habit.
Yes.
Firstly, and again, people say, oh, I say it in my head. Well, say it's great, but when you write it, you seal it. It's sealed on paper. Yes, it's becoming stronger impact for your brain, huge release of dopamine, achievement hormone. That is also, next day you'll get more dopamine to drive you to your goals, just because when you fell asleep, it was this feeling of success in your mind, not the feeling of questioning yourself, but the feeling of achievement, of success. And secondly, of course, once it becomes your habit and you write it again and again, when you have your moments of doubt, you open your success diaries and you just remember, it's not a coincidence. It's not a fluke of luck. You have done a 6 months of work that brought you here. So from here, the way is only up. So don't worry, don't be scared, don't be anxious. You have done so much, you should be able to do it again. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's more confidence for your next steps.
Okay, and so this is more about writing the good things about yourself, and whenever you feel low, just go back to it and read it, so that you know that whatever you are achieving, it is because of you only.
Yes, and it sounds so simple that people don't do it. But so just like every magic, I'm always giving my clients this example of Harry Potter. They say, I'm asking, do you guys want magic? Yes, we want. Okay, so magic means you have to do a certain thing again and again for like 10 years. So, okay, fine. For at least 1 month, for 28 days, write your success diary. Oh, it's too simple. Yes, it's simple. So do it. Do it. That's in Harry Potter. Before they started levitation of their objects, they started repeating it again and again, and they failed in the first attempt. But after repeating it for 1 year, they succeeded. So why don't you guys start doing it?
Yes, it is simple. Actually, it is simple. So we should do it. Okay, and
work.
Yes, because in my mind, what happens that because we already feel like imposters, and if we get even a single negative feedback, then it is like, see, I knew it that I wasn't doing it right, and I was an imposter. Any small negative feedback makes us feel even worse, and it kind of makes our doubts come true.
Yes, and it's also our brain biologically is not focused on our victories. We forget our victory very fast. Biologically, we are wired to look for risk and for mistakes, because that's how we survive. So we are changing the wires in our brain by writing down our victories every evening, every night in your little diary. It can be a very bad handwriting, just scribble something. It doesn't matter. Only you will read it.
Right. Yes. So, Kat, is there a book that you would recommend, maybe regarding this, or something motivational which covers multiple aspects of our personality development?
Oh, so I'm sure it was a book. I'm forgetting the name, but it's written by those two researchers who started this first initial project back in 1980s, Pauline Clance and Suzanne Imes. So maybe, Maitri, you can share in the notes of this podcast. You can look up. I believe that was the first book that these guys wrote, and I was not following it much, specific new developments, but I think there must be a couple of TED Talks on this. If you guys search a little bit more on imposter, there is more and more things coming up.
Okay, very interesting. So
of course, by the way, I highly recommend this book, Lean In, by Sheryl Sandberg. Facebook CEO Sheryl Sandberg, Lean In. It's about overall professional, how woman is entering professional world, how different challenges that we always face, and a lot of different issues there. A wonderful book, including imposter syndrome, including being a woman in a highly competitive professional world of men and achieving a high position there.
Okay. So that book is really popular now. I see why, because I am yet to read it, but looks like I have to read it now.
Oh, now I remember it. Okay, great book. It's called Secret Thoughts of Successful Women. Secret Thoughts of Successful Women. Valerie Young.
Okay, Valerie Young.
So that's a more modern one. So Pauline Clancy wrote her books back in 1980s. I think Valerie Young, it's more modern take on this. Secret Thoughts of Successful Women. Why capable people suffer from imposter syndrome. And how to thrive and how to succeed despite of that. Very interesting book.
Okay, great. Now this is one book I think every woman should read.
Yes, absolutely.
So, Kat, is there a woman you admire the most, or maybe a lot?
Oh, so many. Don't know where to start.
Okay.
From every field, we came across, I'm always looking for a combination of women who achieved a lot, and in the same time, they didn't lose their femininity. So they still remain beautiful. They take care of themselves. They have wonderful balance with their families and their lives. I'm always giving example of Sarah Blakely. She is the founder of Spanx. Spanx is the multi-billion-dollar empire, and she was the one behind the idea. Nobody even had this idea of shapely underwear. So she developed that, and she's brilliant and beautiful lady. Lots of ladies. Of course, Byron Katie, look, she is now in her 70s, and she is one of the first coaches who started working with her clients on limiting beliefs and questioning the own limitations that we have in our brain. Byron Katie, she has beautiful website and her case studies with her clients. Maitri, you put me on the spot. I think too many. Almost like every week I'm reading different books by wonderful, successful women, and all of them are just worth a lot of recognition.
I'm sure. Actually,
my latest crush is Dr. Rhonda Patrick. Okay. She's biochemist, but she's focusing on human body, and she's this extreme biohacker. She would be the one who will recommend you extra vitamins and extra supplements, but she has brilliant blogs where she describes in great language on what we should eat and how we should exercise to stay younger. And it's a highly scientific blog and podcast. I think it's called Find Your Fitness. But for me, it's very extremely interesting. And I'm trying all her recommendations on myself, eating this 5 grams of vitamin C every day and all other extreme. It's called biohacking, when you really try experiments with your body.
Yes, I heard about biohacking in another podcast, and I read about it a little, then I put it on back burner, but looks like I need to rediscover it, because it is something which definitely interested me, because when I heard about it, I was like, okay, so there is a lot more to our bodies than we already know. So maybe we can
and she has wonderful suggestions for expecting mothers. She was recently pregnant herself, so her focus was a lot on what to eat during pregnancy, what kind of supplements, and then her baby started growing, so she also was suggesting. That's also one. She's a big supporter of exclusive breastfeeding, and I like how she beautifully describes why is it important from scientific standpoint, what does it do to your baby's body. So great to hear it again with a lot of scientific evidence.
Okay, now this is something. Okay, Kat, if there is one thing that you can say to women everywhere, what will it be?
I would say don't stop self-development. See, self-development in any kind of shape and form. Find what is interesting for you, and what is interesting for you could be very different from what is interesting for me. It doesn't mean that if I like to do meditations, you should like it as well. It could be art, it should be songs, foreign languages, different cultures, or cooking, or anything. You find it, but don't stop learning. Learning is so important. Even now we say in the year 2020, when we have COVID, pandemics, we see that people who focus on self-development, somehow they not only they're above all these fears, they don't suffer so much from fear and anxiety. It's almost like they're getting better immunity for these diseases, because it keeps you younger, it keeps you stronger. Your self-development brings you to higher levels of your life. And especially as we get older and older, sometimes we forget about learning, and keeps our brain younger, longer. As soon as our brains become rigid and we stop learning, we kind of one way to death. We're going to die soon because our brains stop developing. That's from biological perspective. That's it. Your value added finished here. So it's in our best interest to encourage our elders also to keep learning new things, do some puzzles. I don't know, join some society of elder people to learn singing and learn French. My father is 85 years old. He's still learning a lot of new foreign languages every day. Wow. So keep yourself young through self-development. I think it will be my main message. We invest so much in sari or jewels or bangles, and guys, if you can invest into your heart, into your brain, into your passion. If you like to, doesn't matter what you love, art or singing or dancing, invest in terms of your effort, your time, and you will be rewarded many times over by staying young. by staying above all these little fears and staying flexible.
Wow. Yes, I think we all need to keep doing that, and we all want to stay young, so why not? And Kat, this was your advice. And is there something is there an advice which was given to you and it changed your life?
So let me remember. Great question. It was so many that I can summarize. I don't remember exactly that
Yeah.
point when I received it, but I think maybe it was coming from some books, that kind of advice or message, or you can say it's a message, that whatever challenges we face in our life, we kind of agree to them before we even born. So from multiple spiritual perspectives, we being born before, we're going to be born again. So who is that wonderful force designing all these activities for us in this life, all these challenges and difficulties? And it was interesting for me to discover from some spiritual books and spiritual sources, I think, including Hindu religion and including many other religions, that it's us, ourselves, our own soul is designing it. Yeah. So this kind of change of perspective, sometimes it helps me a lot when I face some challenges and I'm thinking, why me? It gets you the answer. That's why. Go and learn, and you will be grateful for this. And you look back sometimes on things 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and you say, okay, now I got it. That's why, and that's how it makes sense. And actually, yes, true, I'm better this way. So before you start blaming God or blaming the world or blaming other people, why it's happening to me, just remember that there was some meaning behind it. There is some sense in all your challenges, and just enjoy it as a training grounds for your soul.
Wow. So just keep learning. Don't feel like an imposter. Whatever happens to you happens for a reason, and you will find it if you look hard enough, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And you are the person who designed this for yourself.
Yes, exactly.
Nobody else.
Nobody else does this for you. So, Kat, how can people connect with you online?
You can find me on WannaBaby on Instagram. I'm still, despite of number of followers, I'm still enjoying checking my direct messages. So second best way is to find the WannaBaby on Telegram.
Yes.
Telegram is a new messenger. It's up and coming great messenger, and we have nice Telegram channel where people can also discuss and share and chat there. So find me on Telegram, WannaBaby.
Okay, so find Kat on Telegram, find her on Instagram, join her courses. They are amazing. Connect with her. She's a really fabulous person, and I know her for over 2 years. It's not a very long time, but whatever I know about you, Kat, I think you are a gem of a person, which they call Lan.
Thank you so much, Maitri, and thank you for all your support over these last 2 years. We stay connected after multiple programs, and thank you for support that you give to other ladies in our community, this WannaBaby community of people who finished all the programs. They still connected, and you're one of the most supportive people in that group as well.
Yes, so Kat, thank you so much. I'm really grateful to you for giving your time today to Little Fixes podcast, and maybe we will have you back sometime again.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you so much, Matthew.
So अपने अचीवमेंट्स का, अपने वर्क का क्रेडिट प्लीज लीजिए. यस, वी आर ऑलवेज ग्रोइंग, ऑलवेज लर्निंग, बट इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि हम जो अपने अचीवमेंट्स हैं उनको जस्टिफाई करें किसी और की ये कहकर कि शायद उनको इतनी चीज़ों का नॉलेज नहीं था, या फिर ये हमारे साथ जस्ट बाय लक हो गया है. इन सब चीज़ों को पीछे छोड़िए और अपनी एबिलिटीज़ पे ट्रस्ट कीजिए. आगे बढ़िए. बहुत कुछ है करने के लिए, सीखने के लिए, दूसरों को सिखाने के लिए. तो लेट्स do it and come out of our imposter syndrome. अगर इस एपिसोड से आपकी किसी भी तरह की हेल्प हुई, आपको लगता है कि हाँ you can do better with your potential, obviously you can. और अगर आपको ये थोड़ा सा भी रियलाइज हुआ है आज के एपिसोड से, तो प्लीज शेयर दिस एपिसोड विद योर फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिली जिनको भी ये सब चीज़ें सुनने की ज़रूरत हो. एंड प्लीज शेयर इट ऑन सोशल मीडिया. टैग अस at Little Fixes Podcast on Instagram and on Facebook. और कैटरीना को भी आप टैग कर सकते हैं. प्लस अब हम मिलेंगे नेक्स्ट वीक कुछ और नए कंटेंट के साथ. तब तक के लिए लाइफ में मजे करो और सदा सैसी रहो.